Today's Reddit story is about a wife who wants to know if she's crazy to think that her husband's work wife is trying to destroy her marriage. It was posted on Best of Redditor Update, but it was originally posted off of True Off My Chest. Let's get into it. It's titled, My Husband Doesn't See How His Work Wife is Trying to Destroy Our Marriage. I, 31 female, am at my wit's end with my husband's 32 males coworker Sarah, 30 female, and his complete inability to see what's happening. I'm not usually one for Reddit, but I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Where do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband Mark started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecue, included her in group outings, and generally tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything from my career. Oh, you're just a yoga instructor? How peaceful. To my cooking. I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it clashes with the office aesthetic. When I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that Sarah just has high standards for office decor. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. Some greatest hit from Sarah. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like hashtag work power couple and work spouse. She tells everyone at their office that she takes better care of him than I do. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she trained him right. The worst part, my husband is completely blind to all of this. Yesterday, he actually told me about how Sarah sees our new house, which we spent months searching for, was charming in a starter home kind of way. He repeated this while laughing. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm just insecure. She managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on weekends. She knows his schedule better than I do. She rearranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. Last week, I suggested marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. He, of course, went and talked to Sarah about it. I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch, and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. The breaking point? I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know, but it was his birthday and Sarah was supposedly out sick. Guess who was there? Sarah. She miraculously recovered and brought him a cake and to say, to my work hubby, with a photo of them from the office holiday party. She saw me and said, oh, Amy, you came too? How nice. Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming. I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. What do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. TLDR. My husband's work wife is actively trying to sabotage our marriage while he remains completely oblivious to her obvious manipulation. ETA? I should have stated that the promotion wasn't one that would have increased his salary, but his title. It would give him more leadership experience. It still blows my mind that he turned it down just so he could stay on the same team as her. What? I should have told the mug story in its entirety. She accidentally broke the mug. I noticed it was gone when I was visiting him one day and I asked him about it. He said she accidentally knocked it over and then later he repeated a joke she made about it, how it didn't fit the office aesthetic. Wow. I have so much to say about this. This work wife, Sarah, is clearly trying to weasel her way into your husband's life. I mean, hey, you work 40 hours or probably more than that a day. You spend more time with the people that you work with than your family outside of work. So I get it. But Sarah is definitely crossing a lot of boundaries. She's like pretending to basically be his wife. Come on, man. Using the excuse as work wife, that they're going through a rough patch. Come on, seriously? And I don't believe for a minute that the husband is completely oblivious to these things. I think he just likes the attention. And OP, you are not crazy. Sarah is basically trying to take over your role. She is going beyond being a co-worker or a friend, okay? Like seriously, she is just trying to take over your role. She's just trying to be his wife. Not just a work wife. That's just an excuse, okay? That's just plain excuse. You need to talk to your husband and say, you know what? I'm not comfortable with how she's acting. And you know what? I cannot believe that the husband is like going along with these jokes. You're her husband. You should be defending the OP and saying, hey, Sarah, you need to stop this. I mean, from the sound of things, it sounds like you care more about Sarah than your actual wife. Mark, you need to get it together. Anyways, let's see what some of the commenters have to say. First commenter says, Sarah would not be able to sabotage your marriage if your husband wasn't allowing it. That's very true. Another commenter says, you have a husband problem. Go to counseling and get professional help to communicate your concerns. Remind him that he's married to you, not Sarah. So her opinion shouldn't matter when it comes to your marriage. Good luck, but be prepared for the worst. Yeah, another commenter says, yeah, this guy isn't oblivious. He's complicit. He knows what's happening. He likes the attention. He is happy to let his girlfriend disrespect his wife. I completely agree. I don't believe for a minute that Mark is not aware of anything that Sarah's doing. That he thinks that this is just a big joke and doesn't mean anything. No. I completely agree with these commenters. Mark enjoys this attention and he doesn't want it to stop. He likes to feel wanted. I just think it's ridiculous. Anyways, OP does provide an update. Now let's get into it. Update. Hi, I, 31 female, posted a few days ago. I didn't really expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed by all the comments that I haven't responded to any. I want to address everyone who says it's fake. I understand why you think that, but this is my personal hell. I only listen to Reddit stories on TikTok, but when this reached to its boiling point, I just needed a place to talk. So I made an account and tried to yell into the void. Well, the void turned out to be less empty than I thought. Now, to why everyone is here. The update. Before I talked to my husband, 32 male, I decided to do some investigation. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. She badmouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't really flirty back. They talked a lot. And he praised her frequently for her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email, nothing. I checked his work email, nothing. I looked through our other devices, nothing. I searched high and low for our second phone, nothing. Everything I found was always dancing that line. Nothing was outright cheating, but here are the things I found that did hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her, and only her, every day in the office. They don't really like anyone else. So they'll criticize others and say, let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ today. He'll say things like, I'm sure if you were a wife, you would XYZ. He'll always keep it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upsets me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. He didn't get upset with her, just said, yeah, the photo gifts are kind of corny. The audacity of this guy! I confronted him. I laid it all out, and while he wasn't upset, he did try to brush things off. I told him, he said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted that at first he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. He saw her trying hard with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it. And the more he responded, the more attention she gave, until she just had her sights on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that eventually he just got too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but had gotten addicted to attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. Really? Wow. So he indulged her sometimes at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in the two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we rarely see one another, so what was the harm? He reiterated that he never ever physically cheated with her, but admittedly it could be called an emotional affair. It is straight up an emotional affair, alright? It was painful, I won't hide that. I mean really painful. Like I wasn't enough. I told him from this point on, he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and ask to be transferred or switch jobs altogether. Now folks, I mean it when I tell you this. He lost his crap. He began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated. It was all above board and I couldn't control who he talked with at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helps a lot. Taking it away would just damage his mental health. It got so bad that I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I packed a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family that I have here. I gave her a rundown of what was going on and she offered her home to me. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want to work it out. I love him more than anything. I will try harder to answer comments on this post and I will definitely update if something new happens. This has all been very therapeutic and makes me feel less alone. TLDR. I confronted my husband about his work wife and he lost it on me. Now I'm staying with my mother-in-law. Wow. The husband is definitely a POS. I cannot believe this. At least he admitted that he liked the attention. It is completely an emotional affair. And he doesn't feel sorry about this. He's not regretful to it at all. He has not learned his lesson. NOP, honestly, I think you're better off without him. File for that divorce from this guy because he's basically checked out of this marriage. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your feelings. You brought up a perfectly reasonable boundary and he completely ignored it. But at least your mother-in-law is on your side from the sound of things because you're staying with her. So at least you have her as your support. Your husband, get rid of him. Seriously, just get rid of him. Anyways, let's see what some of the commenters have to say about this update. It says, well, I kind of figured he wasn't that clueless. This is a full-blown emotional affair. From experience, things will only escalate that they are in bed together. Protect your peace because he sure doesn't give a damn about your feeling. Stay strong. I agree. Another commenter says, jump right from admitted that he could have called it an emotional affair to he began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated. He did cheat it. It's called an emotional affair. He cheated emotionally, even if he didn't do it physically. OP made a valid effort, but it doesn't seem like this marriage can be saved. Completely agree. Now, OP adds a little bit information about her mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is on my side and told me point blank that he is wrong. However, she says she doesn't want to get in the middle of this because she doesn't want to damage the relationship with either one of us. She told me I'm welcome to stay as long as I need, but she won't bring anything up to her son until he brings it up to her. My mother-in-law agrees his actions are wrong, but doesn't want things to escalate or to damage her relationship with either one of us, so she's staying out of it unless he contacts her. As for my husband, he has tried to reach out. He's called and left messages and texted. I let him know I was safe and left it at that. He will message or call every few hours, but we haven't talked. Now, it sounds like this is an ongoing thing, so we'll see if there is any further update. Anyways, just want to see what you guys think of this whole thing. Do you think the OP's boundary is perfectly reasonable? To me, I think it's personally reasonable. And what do you think of this husband? Do you think he's really still in it for the marriage? Or do you think OP is really better off divorcing this guy? Let me know in the comment section. And remember, if you like these types of stories, to continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.